like to thank South Africa for taking the journey with us. We are KwaMaphumulo to actually interact Nonkosi Maphumulo. We are, as we said, providing protective personal equipment to ensure that we are able to open the tribal council offices for them to be able to service social development clients, but also to service the whole of South Africa. In the afternoon, Mayor, still in your wards and in your district speaker, we are going to be handing over, joined by Change Richmond as an NPO, the National Lotteries Commission.
I'm the Provincial Manager of the National Lotteries Commission. I'm based in KwaZulu-Natal. The National Lotteries Commission is signing a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the National House of Traditional Leaders. Ukuthi sifuna ukulekelela ama-traditional leaders across the country. Sifake intuthuko kuma-traditional leaders nama-communities aphethwe amakhosi.
It's a very, very big department, yaga social development. So ama-partners afana namakhosi abaluleke kakhulu, you know, for us to be able to do umsebenzi wethu. We will be handing over to Ndabezitha Khumalo personal protective equipment for her residence and for her office and for her whole tribal council. So before the ANC came in 1910, traditional leaders were there. They even contributed to the establishment of the ANC. Africa has always been organized. There has always been structure. There has always been the one that leads. And in the transition, as we introduce democracy and other things, we tend to think, and then we arrived, and then Chief Justice, I solemnly confirm and makes me better than Inkosi. I can never be. One of the issues that we are dealing with is obviously the fact that KZN, even though we are supposed to launch our village-to-village program, we can't because the ROC leadership training has not happened as yet. And we as a department believe that every traditional leader, including Induna and everybody, must be trained on a 5-day course that we are offering as a department for us to be able to say thumbs up. We can fund their programs, we can support the community, we can make sure that the tribal authorities understand what is it that they are going to deal with when they meet Enkundleni. So for the first time, COVID made people understand the importance of a tribal office. You want to apply for your bank, open a bank, sicela confirmation, your residence. Where are you going to get it? Mauhlala emakhaya. KwaNdabezitha. But Ndabezitha's office is closed because akafuni ukukunika iCOVID, akafuni nawe uyilethe iCOVID. So we're trying to really provide PPE to Ndabezitha to actually open their offices so that this essential service that COVID has reminded us, we are going to be respecting them, we are going to be understanding the role they play in our lives, and as a structure to actually begin to say, hey, let's stamp Nkosi yami sibaluleke kakhulu naleya signature yaNdabezitha ibaluleke kakhulu. So that is the other opportunities that COVID has actually assisted us with. So Sewatilivile, we are here, we've given the tribal authority, that is the chief and all Induna, all of what they need to be able to do the work of ensuring that they reopen their offices, protect themselves from COVID, but also protect their families and the community. Because for us to be able to launch the village-to-village program, we need to have ensured that Amakhosi understands what the village-to-village program is through the 5-day training that they need to attend. We are still doing our Pink Drive community outreach programs. Today we were at Eddington Hospital where we've managed to really, it's a cold day, but South Africa, we want to say thank you for checking in Pilo and for coming out, doing that pap smears, doing that memo, immunizing those children, applying for your grants, getting, you know, those contraceptives, the HIV test, the TB tests, the cholesterol, sugar, diabetes, and high blood tests so that we can live a long life. For we are saying at social development, early detection saves lives. Our highlights for this particular outreach so far is we've been able to immunize children as social development. Even though immunization is done by health, we need to make sure the mothers take the children, because it's important that we keep children alive as the department. But we've also made sure that we've registered children and gotten them birth certificate on the spot, and we've been able to actually make sure that children 0 to 5 are able to get onto our SASSA grant when they as beneficiaries, because these are rural municipalities. All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, put your hands up if you really wanna have it, put a ring on it. If you really wanna have it, put a ring on it. Hey, these single ladies. Today we also, as social development, reality came where mothers, 22-year-old, the other one was 38, the other one was 55, the other one was 49, who have never owned an ID.
Umntana makanaso isitifiketi ngoba imina engenayo i-ID.
Today we got an opportunity to speak to women, and what made this day so difficult was that it was the first day where so many women did not have IDs, and that they are staying and are South Africans. So it's another area that comes back to social development, where we need to continue to educate South Africans, especially women. A lot of foreign nationals that cohabit with South Africans, but also enter into relationships, and as a result they find a lot of children unable to access birth certificate kwa Home Affairs. So now where's the baby?
Baby, she's dead.
Wow, nicely inside.
Let's see this. Let's see this girl, baby. Oh, there is the baby. Hello, baby. Nationality of the child is determined by the mother. So it's very important as women that if the child is born by a South African mother, the child is automatically a South African citizen. But if the mother is not South African, the child is also not South African. But Home Affairs recognizes the birth of the child, and when the child turns 18, the child can then apply for South Africa's citizenship using that particular paper, because we give the child the opportunity to choose which country the child wants to live in. But I also need to say I was quite very proud to see a lot of men who were queuing to come and register their newborn babies while the mothers were not even discharged in the hospital. They were there with the relevant documentation to take birth certificates for their children. So that says that our message of men and boys championing change is beginning to hit home. And that is one of the highlights I'm taking today. It's the number of fathers that were there and are taking out birth certificates for their children. That says to us that slowly but surely the message that fathers take responsibility for your children is hitting home. So alongside our ROC leadership, it forms part of our compendium of care, which is our behavioral change programs. Amongst it, we've got Men and Boys Championing Change, where we're hoping to actually have a different men by 2030, but also affirming the ones that are there to assist us to reduce the high prevalence of gender-based violence, of HIV, but also taking responsibility for their children. We also have the program called YOLO, where you are saying you only live once, behave responsibly and take responsibility for your behavior. And this is a program that focuses on 15 to 24-year-olds, because it is that time when, as a person, you're actually not sure whether you are still a child or you are an adult. Then we've got Chomi, which is our 10 to 14-year-olds, where we're trying to make sure that we catch our children. We teach them through play. They need to play whatever the indigenous games of that area, from hopscotch to khati, diketo, ligusha, snakes and ladders, you name it. Then we've got Families Matters, where we are trying to strengthen families, because we're trying to rebuild the village we have lost. And then we've got our gender-based violence victim empowerment support program, where we provide sheltering services, but at the same time we have the command center that ensures that whenever you find yourself abused in whatever form you are able to make that call to 0800 428 428. Substance abuse remains a problem, so Kimoja is there to try and say, Kimoja, no thanks, I'm fine without drugs, which is our prevention strategy where we educate young people. So this package is a package that is included in the Rock Leadership, where we train Ondabezita to be able to articulate but be champions of these programs in our rural villages. So that's why, City, you are with social development from the cradle to the grave.